My dear ones, I miss doing these videos and talking with you. I've been so friggin' busy. It's incredible, you know. So I really love talking with you, and I've been talking with some of you on the phone about the Costa Rican project. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And the Saba Eco Lodge, that sounds pretty cool. Nice little island. A couple's trying to turn it into a health retreat. I'll bring that out to you. So many things. And what is this?
What?
What are you guys doing?
It's from Catherine.
This is what?
From Catherine.
From Catherine?
She painted it, made it for you.
What is it?
Right here.
Oh.
Oh, I'll get this off.
Oh my God.
Isn't that amazing?
My God. Who did this?
Her name is Catherine.
Catherine, you sweetheart, look at this. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yep, that's everything. I'll make sure.
You don't make me cry, guys. You don't do this where you can see me cry. My God. You are something else, honey. My God.
Hand painted.
Oh, man.
Isn't that awesome?
That's
Framed
sweet.
and
Oh,
everything.
my God. Love you guys. Oh, my God. My God. And she got my favorite shirt.
Yep.
I love that shirt. I don't know what it is. Love you.
The pose
Thank you
and
so
everything.
much. Pretty.
I don't know where to put it.
I don't know either. It's going to go in my new office.
Definitely
As you see,
in
my
your
bookshelves
office.
are a little vacant. Yeah, for now, but I'm going to finish the wall. And I've been building my new office down the way.
All right.
Thank you so much, love. Boy, my God, that's neat. Is that neat? Isn't that cool?
I can pan it up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's cool stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know some of you just tuning in probably don't understand, but we've got a really good group that's just full of love and joy, and we're out healing people and making people feel better and enjoying their lives. And that's what we've got to do. If we don't do this, no one will. And it's just that the dog-eat-dog world out there, we've got to change it. I also want to thank someone for these feel-good shirts, because this is, I don't know how you guess this, but this is totally me. Except I didn't have any animals. I lived in my Volkswagen van for 3 years, out in the woods as a fruitarian. Is this small? Because that's what I take. What? What's wrong? What do you mean?
It's from Georgia.
Man cave. Love it. Man cave. My man cave was a Volkswagen camper van. Now it's an RV.
Yeah, better than nothing.
Thank you, sweetheart. This is Georgia. Thank you so much, Georgia, from Colorado. Colorado. That's where the good
Cold country.
Cold country. It's also where the good stuff is right now, right? Gummy bears. And love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, you guys. Oh, what a beautiful. Oh, my God. You guys are something else. I love you now. Thanks, sweetheart.
You're welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys are a love. You know, when you pull the spiritual people together, it's such a love. It's a love in, because it's just a whole change of how you interact with people and how you respect people and you honor people, and it's just you guys are the best. And I'm glad you are, because we're needed that way. We're doing a Costa Rican project with Marco, and there's several others involved in this project. And I'm real excited about it, because it's not just a Costa Rican project. You know, when you look at the power on the planet, and you see in healing modalities, the power is generally with the associations. So you got the American Medical Association, the one that told Wally Safer on 60 Minutes, let buyer beware when you go to a medical doctor. And you've got your associations over chiropractics and your associations over massage. And these associations control pretty heavily. Of course, they're looking at the laws, and they're looking at where they can go. But generally, as a massage therapist, you're limited. Chiropractors are limited. Naturopaths never wanted to be licensed, because in America, a license is a privilege. And if you're born in one of the 50 states, you don't operate by privileges. You operate by rights. And there's a huge difference to that. So when a state requires a driver's license, wrong, against the law. And so many people now, friends of mine, drive without them because they can't force you. Matter of fact, when you try to reserve your rights to get them, they won't give them to you. It's a major thing that's going on in this country. Now, I don't know about other countries, you know. Major fraud in trying to get you away from the private sector where they can be taxed and everything else. And the IRS is just going ahead and taxing the private sector, which is why Miss Lerner made the statement she did about the Tea Party and dangerous and all that. Big time stuff happening. So, to make a long story short, again, we're going to start an association that I've wanted to do this for so many years, and so has other naturopaths of a higher order. And we wanted to develop the most powerful association, because when you have the FDA, and you've got an association that is millions strong and not going to take no crap. One or two of us, hey, they just plow right over us. But with all of us, you don't plow over all of us. And that's the beauty of having us all working as a team, as a one. And the healing is simple. It's easy. Now, it might not be easy and simple for some of you that have been locked from pharmaceuticals and just your lifestyle. If you've locked yourself into pain and things like this, but you can unwind those doors. You must realize, you must break this old medical consciousness. There's no remedy. We'll just treat the best we can do and kind of carry you along until you pass. That's all bull crap. There is health, there is vigor, there's vitality. And that it can be from the sickest of people to the strongest of people. You don't have to sit there and take it. You have all power to change your consciousness, to change your mind, to change your emotions, and to change your physical body at any time you so choose to do that. You have full rights to do that. And the power to do that. The mind is what blocks you guys. And that's what you have to understand, the mind. And it's sometimes for those just tuning in, it's like the mind. But we're taught that that's us. And it's not. I was just asking one of our new employees, which is it? Is it I think, therefore I am? Or is it I am, therefore I think? Of course it's I am, therefore I think. But some people think it's I think, therefore I am. Thought process is all mechanical. And when you really study spirituality and you get into the mental worlds, you'll see how all that works. It is the old saying, make the mind a good slave but a lousy master. But this Seba, I'm going to show you a phone number. I generally don't do stuff like this, but you know, this is all in oneness and togetherness of trying to create healing centers worldwide. Some of the islands are perfect places for it. It's whether people can get to these places in an economic situation. Some of you guys are going to be like me. We're stuck where the lights don't shine, and you're going to be one of the few light bulbs shining bright in your country, in your province, in your village, wherever. So be it. You be the light of God and the light of truth always. You can never go wrong by always living truth, ever. The courts can't deal with truth. I've tried to cram truth down the federal courts, and they just can't stand it. You know, the cockroaches run. You know, truth is a tough egg to crack when you live in a world that's based upon lies and deceptions and stuff like that. But then creation is kind of that way anyway. But this is to the Saba. I don't know which it is. This is an eco lodge. This is in the Dutch Caribbean. This is supposed to be a little island that has an eco lodge on it. They're turning it into a holistic retreat. They're looking for some help, of course. You know, I'm going to help you guys a little myself. We're not a wealthy type of organization or club here, but boy, I'd like to help as much as I can, you know, and anybody out there that can. Because if we can get these healing centers worldwide, and we get them in all the countries and islands around the world, I'm telling you, You will be responsible for helping change a whole world, you guys, a whole world. And this changes not only the physical world, it changes the emotional world, it changes the mental world. So you guys are going to be responsible for changing creation in a positive manner. Incredible stuff. But this is the phone number of the lad. This is Kelly, Yogi Kelly. He's a spiritual dude. And I can just show you this just for a minute. Or maybe I should tilt it. Maybe I was in Colorado when I wrote it. But that sounds like real good stuff. Costa Rican project, extremely exciting. Anyone can come down and get healing. It's going to be beautiful down there. We have several people already have places down there that you can stay. I mean, I'd like to see some of you. We coordinate a lot of this. And that's a beautiful thing about all of us together. We can coordinate. And that's vital that we coordinate. And research and things like this, the things we're discovering, things that have been buried. Stuff that, bringing out truth more and more, about health and stuff. Let's see, Shannon, will you please have Dr. Morse mention, let me see, which one is this? Yeah, I think this is Kelly. This is the same thing. Yep. Now, Jen B, hope you're doing well. Let me see, this is... Yeah, I'm not sure what that one is. Again, I wanted to thank Charlie Parker because I think his investigative stuff is real. I love stuff like this. And, Charlie, this is the sort of thing that we want to put up on our site, too. And so you might get with Jen B or Shannon in particular, but I would like to put some of these up on our club's site so people can pull these off. It's a great thing on sudden cardiac death syndrome. And matter of fact, you have like a SIDS almost, where people are dying from aspartame. And that's a sweetener. And I forget, I was reading something. We use 700 tons of aspartame in America a year, I think it is. An ungodly amount. But it's showing DNA mutations, stuff like that, of course. But it also is affecting heart rhythms and arrhythmias and can make you drop dead. He's looked at this, and this is something he brings up in this article that I think is important to bring up with people, and that is the accumulative effects of things. And this is why you get this in city municipalities and things like this when they're talking about the chlorine and the fluorides. And what they don't understand, or maybe they do, is that we have an accumulative effect in the body, accumulation of toxins develop in most people. Why? Because they're not eliminating properly their waste. Not digestive waste. This is going back to what we've been talking about for the last several years, and that's the lymphatic system. When your lymphatic system isn't filtering, you're going to hold toxins in the body. And it's just, it doesn't matter what it is. Aspartame, it could be aluminum from the cookware that's cooking those people that eat cooked foods meals. So it's just the accumulation of waste and toxins in the body, and that's what we're all about, is removing the accumulation of cellular waste, which are acids, and the neurotoxins and excitotoxins, all the toxins in our society that we're consuming by just breathing, by skin, by mouth, or any other way. So we're at serious crossroads in time of toxemia and things like this, and so it's important for people to realize there is the accumulative effects syndrome. I've talked about this for years. You've got to remember that over time, the cumulative effects, and this is what he mentioned here, the cumulative effects of taking aspartame and diet products. My mom ended up in a nursing home from aspartame. She would suck down, two 12-packs a day, easy. My mom she had garbage bags a week, and I don't know what got into her. I tried to get her out of it. I couldn't do that, and just took her down into depression and everything else. They had to put her into a place. Sad stuff. She was just in there staring at the wall, and it's like, holy crap. I mean, it's sad stuff. It's really sad stuff here. What is this? Something else? And please read first. Okay. Hope I got everybody covered here. But I want to thank you for all your love and support, guys. I'm here for you too. Let me tell you, I'm here for you too. But good job there, Charlie. Now, this is please read first. I don't know what this is. First of all, let me say how thrilled I am to have learned of you. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Brought your book, joined the club, and heading for Wellville. I like that. Jen contacted me to say you are no longer doing eye readings on the YouTube, but and answering questions. What? Are no longer doing eye readings on YouTube, but and answer questions. So I would like very much. Well, I don't mind doing some eye readings, but I'd rather you guys get into your own eye readings. You know, because this is a simple science. It's easy to learn. And boy, have we proved this for years and years and years and years. I proved Dr. Jensen was right for years and years and years. And we've got one that Chris just had up here. Oh, this is really nice. You gave me blood work up and everything. Oh, this is nice. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be reading here in a minute. This is a 42-year-old female and have been following a vegan diet for the last year. Before that, I drank milk and ate dairy like there was no tomorrow. Uh-oh. Yeah, talking about eyes, you might look like this one I'm going to look at right here. The lymph system is a mess. Yeah. I was born and grew up in South Africa. Yep. Very familiar with it. I got a good friend from South Africa. Mutt Lang. Oh, Mutt. Robert. Where meat is on the menu 3 times a day. I'm very familiar with that. Here's the lowdown on what going on inside my body. All right. CMT, country music. No, that's wrong. I was born with a degenerative neurological disease called Charcot-Marie Tooth. I've heard of that one. Excuse me. Hereditary neuropathy type 2, CMT2, is an axonal, non-demyelinating peripheral neuropathy characterized by distal muscle weakness and atrophy, mild sensory loss, and normal or near normal nerve conduction velocities. Peripheral nerves are not enlarged or hypertrophic. All right, stop a minute and think about it. No matter what, and again, the tendency of our society is to use the word diseases. That's a tendency that is a bad tendency. Because out of that, we have disempowered ourselves. We have put our faith and things into one modality. That modality has done everything it can to cut down our modality to nothing. It has slandered us for years like nobody's business. Given big spouting opinions on things they know nothing. And so, you know, we're back to that sort of thing. But what causes the breakdown of tissue? A neuropathy is not cells that are sitting there looking pretty. What at any time augments or breaks down or in any way affects all of this, all of the processes from oxidation to ionization to methylation to you name it. What obviously, and in research on methylation, it talks about the changes of lifestyle and stress and everything else in terms of affecting methylation and then the DNA and RNA and stuff. And it's like absolutely right. That was absolutely good research by that research team to show the understanding that chemistry affects everything. And we can use the word diseases, but it's ridiculous. It keeps you thinking that you somehow mysteriously weren't blessed by the Supreme One. Not true at all. Everything is simple here in creation. It is simply cause and effect. You are seeing nothing that is not cause and effect because it can't happen. It is physics. It rules creation as chemistry rules the lower part of creation, the physical universe. Chemistry doesn't rule the mind or emotions. These are energetic bodies, but it does rule the physical body. And so it is my big opinion that you use chemistry to get well. You use energetic forces to get well emotionally and mentally. There's so many things we can talk about those. So this neuropathy can happen when you're in mama. And when you say no demyelization, it might be interesting to pull your eyes and see if you do have nerve rings. Because the one thing we can't see in allopathy is weaknesses. And you have to understand there's strengths and there's weaknesses. Some people are strong, some people are weak, right? Well, this is true cellularly. And when the adrenals are down, which sit on top of the kidneys, and these are big glands that seem to be down in almost everybody to some extent, then you start to see the myelin sheaths going down. What point they see it, who knows? But they do not see weaknesses of cells. They do not see inflammation. They do not see acidosis. Not until it's so dehydrating and so agglomerating that you start forming tumors. Or you see calcifications. You're going to see calcifications or things that are getting hard in an acidic medium. That's just natural. So it's important to understand that this is all about acidosis, no matter what rarity or whatever they say or whatever nerve or level they talk about, because they can make this so confusing, they don't even understand it, I'll have to tell you. But it's easy to understand when you go back to basic chemistry. Chemistry only has two sides to it. Your body is your physical body is a total product of chemistry. You got your cells and their genetic memories from your parents and your grandparents, blah, 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 blah. But you got your fluids, your fluid chemistry from your mom on, and your lifestyle. That's how you alter, change, or in some way affect your blood chemistry and your lymph chemistry. You know, you got to understand you've got two major fluids that control the wellness of the cells. And it's the fluids that start the problem off. Because a normal healthy cell, go back to the French physicist that kept part of a chicken's heart alive for what, 20 years? Just to give you an insight to the strength of a cell. It is once estimated by the higher thinkers, they don't know the lifespan of a cell, given two essential ingredients: proper nutrition and proper cleansing of the cell. You must understand, if you don't get rid of cellular wastes from cellular activity, those wastes burn back on the cell like urine burns back on the bottom of your baby infants. Same waste. Urine is the same cellular waste, because that's where cellular waste goes, through your urine and out, or through your skin. They don't magically just poof, disappear. They're not all ionized and brought back into base. Not even close. It has got progressively worse over the years, and I now wear orthotics. Holy crap, honey, and you use crutches to walk? Now, that's not good. I can no longer drive as I have no sensitivity in my feet. Oh, man, and very little in my hands. The muscles in my hands have wasted away, too. This is all under acidosis, guys. You have to understand, keep it simple. Your body is a pure product of chemistry and energy, chemistry and physics. Take a look at this. Those diseases over there in the corner, let those guys play with them all you want. Take a look at reality and what's going on in your body neurologically, but this is more than neurological. What system breaks down all the other systems? The lymph, acids. It tries not to, but it will if it's not correctly filtering through your kidneys. And this is just I would expect you to lose your muscles, and then I expect you to lose calcium, and I expect you just goes on and on and on, sweetheart. Not good. Everything's like opening bottles, writing, washing my face. Yeah, real bad. I'm a part-time artist. Oh, man. And drawing has begun to get difficult to me as my fine motor skills are not what they used to be. My hands and feet are extremely sensitive to heat and cold, which apparently is connected to this. At a research stress, all the research stresses that there is no way to stop or reverse the nerve damage. Well, if you go to the medical community and you ask them how I cure diseases, there's not one of them can help you. Because there is no cure literally for anything, honey. Anything. It isn't just yours, it's anything. There's no cure for high blood pressure. My God, my dog can cure high blood pressure. I mean, I don't mean to be facetious, but after a while it gets pretty sickening when you've got a huge modality that has all this money, all this pressure, that's brainwashing all the people around the world, that's a top killer of humans around the world, and people rely on that. And it's time to wake up. It's time for the medical doctors to wake up and get away from that so they're protected, and come join us where we can heal the world and you're not lost in a world that you don't understand. And you paid all that money to go to school and you still don't understand it. That's nuts. That's not good. There is total nerve regeneration, but, and I've said on many videos, and a lot of you are very aware of this, it takes the fruit, the berries, and the melons, period. Nothing else. So, sweetheart, you got to go on fruits, berries, and melons, period. Nothing else. Nothing else. Because I have regenerated the nervous system on all levels. From MS, we rarely lose. Lou Gehrig's, how about spinal cord injuries? You can do this. Neuropathies are easier than all those even. So, wouldn't you? So, think about this. You're progressively getting worse. Okay, so let's think about this. What could be going on in your body to make this worse? What could be attacking your nervous system? What could be breaking it down? Is it bacteria? Nah, don't work. How about, it wouldn't be virals. What could be doing this? It's a disease. What could be doing this? Has the cell got something that no one knows about? No, it's your lymph system. It's acids. And this is tied right to your adrenals. That's where your probably your genetics are in the first place. And then to your kidneys. So you really can get this. You get your kidneys filtering. And another thing you want to take a look at, I don't know if you've been to a chiropractor yet, but have him look at the upper spine, have him look at your spine and make sure you're not compressing down on nerves and everything else. Make sure your vertebrae are all straight and nice and all that sort of thing. And head off into the detox world. Get yourself worked up to a fruit, berry, and melon diet. Upper circumbraining nerve, period, right off. Upper circumbraining nerve is what I'd be doing. I'd be sucking those babies down because you should see a lot of testimonies on there about nerve regeneration from those formulas. At the same time, I'm going into my kidneys. I'm going to hit my adrenals because there's the neurotransmitters for the autonomic. I'm going to get my kidneys filtering. Remember the filtration of the kidneys? You want to get your kidneys filtering because you can get out of this, sweetheart. And I would start right now when you see this video. And if you're not already with us, you should be with us because we'll walk you right back out of this. And then you can take this, there's no getting out of this, and put it right in their face. Because that's the trouble. If you buy in, you guys buy into there's no cure for me, you're stuck. They've just taken your joy and your life away from you for no reason because they don't have a clue. These are rare diseases. No one has bullshit. A lot of people have neuropathies all over the place. Oh, this is a special type. You have total power, sweetheart, to back this out and to rebuild your nervous system. Total power to do this. You might want to kill some parasites while you're doing it. You know, you get on that 14-week protocol to take off on that, but I would also add brain and nerve right up front. I had it in there, but I'd write it right up front. Go after that nervous system. Start rebuilding it. Go to the adrenals, of course. Go down to the autonomic, which is the worker bee. That's the one you're talking about. That's the autonomic. But you want upper circumbraining nerve because you want to make sure your central's turned on. This is the central nervous system, worker bee, autonomic nervous system. Worker bee, two sides, parasympathetic, sympathetic, push-pull. My hands and feet are extremely sensitive. Okay, I refuse to believe this. Thank you. You know, that shows your spirituality, and thank you. And you guys listen to this, if I seem a little, forward, it's because it's about time that we wake up from this incredible black hole. We have a black spot on our site, and we just got to fix it. Because it's just out of control. People are dying like flies. Chemotherapy, they're getting brazen, giving it for everything. They're buying into their own lies. I mean, I was just over the weekend, there were some other people dying of chemo. It's just, okay, I was prescribed, a medication for the nerve pain for my neurologist, which I faithfully took for years, but decided one day to stop taking the crap, to the obvious disapproval of the neurologist. Yeah, but what are they trying to do with it? Is it rebuild the nervous system? Heck no. And have been using tissue salts to control the pain. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I used tissue salts years and years ago. Tissue salts, going back into minerals, and people are fixated on minerals, but when you really study chemistry, minerals are elementals. That's more for plants. The elementals then are converted to salts. That's more for us. So you got into the tissue salts, the biochemical tissue salts and stuff like this, which is a higher level. But I used those for a number of years in my practice. So did a chiropractic friend of mine. We never really saw a whole lot of that one. But they're okay. And I say go right into the cause of this factor. Get rid of that acidosis. Pain. What side of chemistry are you on? Acid side of chemistry. So it's funny. Marcy just got back from naturopathic school. She's going to naturopathic school, and it's funny. She was the smartest one there. They all wanted to know what she had to say. Which recently, my voice has started to be affected, and nobody can tell me why. Well, because this is the autonomic, honey, and it's all going to go down on you. You want to stop right now. You get into a full-fledged detox, and if you can't do it on your own, you need to have Marcy or me or Jennifer help you, because you can get right out of this. And it's going to take you a little while to regenerate the nervous system, but give yourself 6 months to a year to regenerate it. But you should be able to regenerate. You should have your feelings and everything back within 6 months, I think, easy. We get people walking within 6 months easy. Not everybody, but sure have a lot. The throat guy says it's because the muscles in my throat don't open and close. That's controlled neurologically, people. I work as a private teacher, so this affects my work. Well, we need to get your butt out of totally fixed up, my dear one. Here we go. My voice and lost my voice. I have to make a lot of effort to speak sometimes. Here's another one, scoliosis. Apart from this, I have severe scoliosis, which I am told is a symptom. Okay, so here's what we were talking to Marcy, and I was laughing at this because this is like I said before, the medical profession tends to look at the ass end of the donkey first. And here's the reason. Take a look at this. All right, diabetes. You're a diabetic type 1, all right? So diabetes causes neuropathy. Diabetes causes gangrene. You see all these things? So the disease diabetes causes all these different things. You see the fallacy of that they're looking at the ass end of the donkey? Come back forward and look at the lymph system and acidosis causes each and every one of those, plus more. Wait, there's a lot more. Not coming from one disease. This is you have a whole system down. Now, the interesting part of this one is you're going to think about parathyroid gland here, and you might be seeing a lot going up in here. If you're feeling dizzy, equilibrium, you know what's in the cerebellum's involved. That's inflammation. That's all acidosis. That's all the lymphatic system again. Wore a back brace from the age of 11 to 16. Holy crap, I'm telling you, more of the parathyroid weakness, and if not, a pituitary, so you really want a picture of your eyes. Send it in to Gen B and let me take a look at it, honey, but you look yourself. But it could be, you have a pituitary down as well. You want to look at that, but I can tell you right now, you want to fix this one because you have calcium utilization and your nervous system will go down even quicker. Without proper calcium utilization, you're not only going to lose it, you're losing a lot of the myelin sheaths and a lot of the neural pathways. Calcium plays a vital role in neurotransmitting. So this is real important right here. This is real important. Had staples put into my right knee to stop the knee from growing to balance the S-curve, and then had surgery at the age of 17 to put a Harrington rod, which broke some 15 years ago. Oh, holy shit. You poor kid, my God. You've been through hell. But I was told I can't be removed as it's fused down the length of my spine. The sad thing is, that's the sad thing about that. I tell you, you sound like you have major parathyroid weakness. So you want to go after that. This is why I'm saying your case needs a practitioner or one of the YouTubers that are very familiar with using some glandulars, particularly the parathyroid. Now let's keep going down this because this case gets better, it looks like here. The trouble with rods is if you ever have an accident and bend a rod, you're in trouble. That's why they don't like to keep rods in. So going down the spine, risky, have to be careful. Asthma, all right? So when you have asthma, what's the first thing? There was something on the news about asthma. And, I thought this was interesting. But asthma, and then they had... It wasn't part of the COPD, but something about COPD and something. But anyway, there was something else in medical about baking soda. I don't know if anybody saw that in the news. Of how they were, and I kind of remember what that was about because it just kind of passed over. But they were using baking soda to bring back some pH balance and stuff. And I forget something else they were using. And I thought, how interesting, just to simply use baking soda to fix your problem. I've been on medication for asthma for the past 10 years and have now been told that they don't know if I have asthma or if the problem is related to the neurological disease. Stopped asthma medication, including cortisol. Yeah, see, the rectiliary gland you're needing bad. But it's enough to say, though, that nervous system controls breathing. That's what asthma is. So I don't know what they were thinking. They were thinking diseases. See, when you think diseases, you can't relate anything. Asthma is not related to your neurological condition. Oh, yeah? Well, you need your autonomic to breathe. And that's the one you have down is the autonomic. But it sounds like you could be, getting some central nervous system problems as well. So I see a big-time parathyroid here, and you want to hit that one because you need that calcium utilization for your nervous system, not just for your connective tissue and bones. Migraines, yeah. Let's see, more or less once a month since seems related to menstrual cycle. Well, you know what? The more acidic you are, the more you can see that. Of course, when your cycle comes, that's estrogen, and estrogen is acidic, so that's when you see the pimples or you see all the symptoms coming because that's acid on top of acid. So most ladies are very acidic. They have the same problem everybody else does, not filtering properly from the kidneys. And so when they have their monthly cycles, that they're already acidic and then more acids, then you just really see the body. And this is a good example of a minor acid on top of another acid. Chemotherapy is a major acid on top of an acid. I mean, it's just obesity. So we're going back to the adrenals and probably the thyroid here. You didn't mention cold feet and hands, so real possible you're seeing a pituitary that's shutting down all your glands. Obesity. Finding it almost impossible to lose weight. Have had thyroid check, no problem there apparently. Check your basal temperatures, get your eye thing. Can't go by their blood work or send it in and let us look at the blood work. Take a look at this one. This is another good one. Pineal Cyst. All right, so the pineal gland. That's your spiritual. That's considered the third eye, the doorway to the heavens, or it's considered your sleep and rest that produces melatonin. And she's got a cyst on it. So to have a cyst on the pineal gland, it wouldn't have mattered if it had been the pituitary or anywhere else because it's just all the same, showing you that your lymph system is backed up even in your brain, and that's the central nervous system. And you want these cysts off of the pineal, and you don't know, I don't know, pituitary is probably clear, but you want to get that off of there. And that's through the lymphatic system. These are all lymphatic problems, not blood problems. Only the two. Pick one. Other stuff. I wake up extremely tired. Well, you know what? That's your adrenals. You're not recharging your nervous system. You're losing your nervous system. So why would you wake up with energy? That's your adrenal glands. In fact, I am more tired in the morning than before I go to bed, yeah. And I can tell you, your thyroid's probably down too. When your thyroid and adrenals are down, I don't care how much rest you get, you're always tired. You just never can get that total rest. And then you got the pineal with the cysts on it, meaning you don't rest real well that way either. So you got a lot of things going on here that you need to fix. But they're all very fixable, very fixable. I mean, don't freak out, very fixable. In fact, takes me ages to get going. I did a sleep study, and they determined I had slight apnea. How much studying and how much money did one have to spend in agony to find the truth? This is easy to diagnose, if you want to use that word. I have very dry skin. What's that? Dehydration. Flaky scalp. Uh-oh. What that means is you're not eliminating your lymph. This is all going back to your lymph system. But see how we can tie that into every case like that? Because that's reality. Reality is science. Reality is how things are. Reality isn't in make-believe dreams of diseases and things that people don't understand and big words and things like that. That's dark agey stuff. We don't need any more dark aging on this planet. Let's bring the light to this planet. Take dark aging. There's some other planets right now being prepared. There are going to be some things going. You'll see. Some of you the out-of-bodyers. All right, so you have occasional cystitis. That's not good. All right, so again, you're backed up even in the bladder wall. I mean, this is this is the lymph system. This is all acidosis that you're saying. You have bad circulation. Well, if you have poor circulation, you're either looking at calcifications or cholesterol, being highly acidic and the adrenals down, and they tell you on cortisol, which means you shut your own production down, so I don't sweat very much at all, thyroid. Even in summer, wake up with headaches very often, stiff neck and shoulders. Where would that come from? Let's see. Blood problem. You guys are too good. You beat me to it. Of course, see, everything you're saying here, do you see how this is leading you? You're answering your own questions right here, honey. Stiff shoulders. Oh, God, it's stiff and tight. What side of chemistry? Acids, of course. Which system? The lymph system, the naughty, the naughty tumor cyst, lymph node, that system. Bad cellulite, which system? Lymphatic. Occasionally get bouts of cellulitis in left leg, which system? The lymphatic system. Not the blood, cellulitis has nothing to do with blood. A lot of mucus, which system? The lymphatic system, that's a system of mucus, right? Sinus pressure, which system? The lymph system, that's mucus, right? You can go on and on and on. Myopathy and going on. Had broken feet twice and leg, receding gum, sensitive teeth. You have a parathyroid. You've got at least a thyroid, parathyroid. Of course, your adrenals are down, but it's possible you have a pituitary that's down, making the others down. I'd have to look at your case in that way and the blood work and all that to look at that in your eyes. It's enough to say you want to start working immediately on the parathyroid. So you need enough here to have someone write you a protocol. If you think you can do it on your own, go ahead, but I would do a parathyroid 1-3 times a day with a Bones or Superfood Blend formula, do 2 bottles of parathyroid. I would go into the 14-week protocol. I would start off with upper circuit brain and nerve right with my protocol and take off down that friggin' road. And I'd get myself right on up to fruits, berries, and melons, forget the veggies. Now, right now, you want to stop all this. I have a little heart arrhythmia. See, and there's a calcium utilization can even create that. So that parathyroid, very key, because you want that scoliosis to straighten itself back. And you want your nerves to rebuild. You want to rebuild your body, honey, and you can do it, but you got to understand the rules of chemistry, the rules of health. And you don't go to plumbers for electrical questions. You don't go to medical doctors for health. I don't know why anybody ever thought medical doctors knew anything about health, because they don't. Even the wiles out there and things like that, they only know a little. They're not at the level of naturopaths and things, even though medical doctors own naturopathic schools now, I guess. But it's a whole different world. You know, it's just a whole different world of reality. You've been to all these, and you see that? This is real easy to take a look at. Everything stacks on top of another in your case. You see how it all relates to one system? It's all these symptoms relate to one system. Now, because you can go, why is my parathyroid down? Why is my pituitary down? Well, the same question can go right over to the pineal gland. Why do I have a cyst on it? It's the lymph system and acids that bring you down. Bases build you up. Acids break you down. So whenever you have pain, you have swelling, you have deterioration, you have neuropathies, what side of chemistry is standing on your nervous system? Acids. Well, where are they coming from? Where's all these acids coming from in the body? From cells. Every cell is a little person. Every cell is busy in its activity levels. In a cell is all the organs and glands to that cell, like we have organs and glands. So we have a whole production within the cell, all the way to nano and supranano levels. We have all levels of production activity in this universe. It's eye-boggling. Man is the one that got himself outside of chemistry that is suited for his anatomy and physiology. He's the one that started to decide to eat like a carnivore and an omnivore, and he's a frugivore. Big difference. And by the way, that was a cute book on the monkey. I wanted to show that, I was going to show it to you. It's a children's book this lady's writing. and relating to children and eating foods and that sort of thing. Cute. So the heart arrhythmia could be either neurological or low calcium levels there. But you're going to bring that straighten itself right out when you get yourself straightened around. That's the cool thing about this, guys. Once you correct your lymphatic problems, everything corrects itself. It's amazing. It's just freaking amazing. Everything corrects itself. Amazing stuff. Just skips a beat every now and then. Skips a beat. Is that a PVC, PAC, or is that a pause? First, second, or third degree heart block. Apparently nothing serious, just skips a beat every now and then. I love that medical doctor. Nothing serious. The tumor's only 7 centimeters, but we'll get it. We'll be back at you when it's 12. Not sure if this should be of more concern, considering 80% of my family have died of heart attacks. Well, yeah, I everything concerns me, and everything is fixable. And just stop and look at your symptoms you wrote me, and how they all relate, and how they all can be brought down into one system that you have down. People have to understand when you have these sort of symptoms all over the place, you have a whole system down, and that's the lymph system. Your cells are just hanging out, ready to get all the goodies. They eat and they poop, they eat and they poop, they eat and they poop. It's the fluid's job to take care of this. And it's our job to eat the foods that are self-cleansing to this machine. When you want gasoline, and they promote this on TV, about Shell and different gasolines have cleansers in them. Well, this is the same thing. When you eat fruits and berries and melons and veggies, they clean you. While you eat them, I'm talking raw, they self-clean you. Now, I can't imagine people born raw, from parents that were born raw, from parents that were born raw. Can you imagine? There'd be no mucus. There'd be nothing in the human. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine, how incredible that would be. I really can't. My BP seems to fluctuate, sometimes high, sometimes low. Okay, there it again. Remember we talked about blood pressures, that switch up and down. Where it's this cerebellum. See, and you already have the dandruff type stuff. You have a cyst, meaning your sewage isn't going anywhere but trying to ooze out your skin here. And this is the cerebellum. This is the equilibrium center. So you definitely have the setup for MS and everything, because this is a big part of that. You didn't mention any brain lesions yet or anything like that, but again, that would be the next thing, because you have a cyst on the pineal gland. The next thing would be getting brain lesions, but that's all about what? Acidosis. Thank you. And which system? There you go, the lymphatic system. You get that system, and you'll get all this straightened around. It'll start rebuilding bones, muscles, nerves, everything else. But for the nervous system, you need fruits, berries, and melons. Don't even waste your time on vegetables, or you won't be happy. Basal tip, I don't know. Did you read my mind? Need to check that still. So that's my health in a nutshell. I am easing myself into a proper detox over the next month, doing a GI tract cleanse this month. I wouldn't wait too long, because hell does tend to freeze over. Besides working on my GI tract, immune system, adrenals, and kidneys, is there anything else you would think? Probably your nervous system would be good. Okay? Now, you do that through the adrenals, but you do that through the herbs and neurological formulas. Absolutely, honey. And remember your glands. This is real important here, this parathyroid, sweetheart. This is not, you want to focus on that one. I have attached the photos of my eyes again, just in case you would like to check them. Many thanks. Hey, Elizabeth?
Yes.
Can you come in here just for a second? All right, thank you. You know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to try to have Elizabeth pull your eyes off here and see what I can do. Let me see. This is... my thoughts will be, I'm supposed to read this? Am I supposed to read this one?
Yeah, he's cool with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't read it, so I don't know what it is. She sent pictures in for the second time. Could you just see if Chris can pull them off? Because I know we don't do that too much, but I'm just curious, because she's got a lot of things going on. I'd really like to see her eyes if that's possible.
No problem.
Thanks, honey.
You're welcome.
Thank you. My thoughts will be based on what is happening to me for the last CPL months, which is when I'm eating good, very high raw, I'm not filtering. When I eat cooked stuff or processing food, I then filter really good. Isn't that strange? Can't tell you why that is. So I've been wondering about this. There seems to be a level of toxicity that my own body judges acceptable and shuts off filtration. Then when I add cooked stuff, my toxicity levels go a little higher and my body tells my kidneys to do their job. When we filter, our cells clean themselves and they can then receive and produce more love, life, God, energy. Yeah, baby, you're right on there. And through time and after each team you filter, you open yourself up to a higher vibrations, which are really your own vibrations in the end. You're right on, 100%. And that's the thing. You bring up an interesting thing here is you can't experience anything outside yourself. You might think you do, but if you really take a look, you can't experience anything other than yourself. And if you haven't had the experience, you can't relate. Remember? That's why there's creation. If someone has an experience and you've never been there or done that, you can just listen and try to, the mind is always, where have I had something like that? You know, in past lives and everything, where have I done that? But if you haven't, you can't relate. Interesting how all that is, you know. So, let's see. Opening yourself up to higher vibrations also means opening yourself up to new levels of challenges in your life, both good and bad challenges. And he brings up an excellent point here because as positive as you can get, you're going to have the negative chomping at your heels. It's just, they come twins. You have a coin, you have two sides to it. Negative is just the opposite side of positive. I know we'd like to think that negative is out there and, you know, it's a bad thing and we're over here on the good side. But let me tell you, the frightening thing is God is all things. All things. All things. The good, the bad, and the ugly. If your body and life are connected, which they are deeply, your body knows, like life knows, that you might not be ready for a certain level of challenges, therefore stopping the detox and the filtration. I don't know what to say about that one. I find it's odd that, because I filter quite well, and I filter on raw, and I filter on, I do have cooked vegetables now and then, and I seem to still filter. But I filter on raw all the time. You know, when I don't filter is when I get, but you don't filter air. I mean, you probably have minor filtration every time, but I drink a lot of water too. I mean, I've been outside doing a lot of fencing, concrete work and stuff, and so, you know, I've spent a good amount of time on the Facebook group before it went down, and I've seen a lot of people are really aware and smart people that I love being trapped in their mind of detox, forgetting that life offers them opportunities to grow and challenge their vibration. It is my belief that you will detox yourselves. If you dare to quit a job or start a relationship, or make a 5-day day to Florida with little funds to meet someone who comes up to you in dreams. Yeah, I love you too, man. I told you I was going to come to you guys in your dreams. You just have to realize that. We're all spiritual people here, guys. Just be aware of your inner workings at night. You know, because there's all levels of training going on. And like I said, there's so many spiritual beings, both male and female, guys. Checked out the female masters around here lately. Dadakaki or whatever. All kinds of females out there. So the theory is herbs and diet will help. They're a fabulous tool, but they're also a trap because it gives the mind goals and can make you forget that outside of these two things, there are many things you can do to change your reality and therefore your vibration. I guess what I'm trying to say is when your body isn't filtering, it may not be a bad thing. Yeah, I got you. Jeeyumi. I don't know, what am I doing with these? What's this one? Okay. So here's some eyes. Let's see what this is. This is the lady that emailed about fractures. The rock climber. Oh, yeah. This is the A&P professor. Hi, sweetheart. Did you read that research on the glymphatic system? That ought to be interesting, huh? If you didn't get that research, let me know and I'll send it to you because you need to look at that. And then understand there's another one at the base, the triangle at the base of the spine, called gonadal triangle. lower burner type stuff, absolutely. You know, there's another lymphatic system to meet the top one. And so, you know, interesting stuff. Take a look at that research on that. I think you'll like it. This is Patty. Now, I've included eye pictures. Okay, here we go. Now, history. 41-year-old female, 120 pounds, 5'4". So 5'4" is right on the crust. So when someone's 5'4", I don't know, male or female, I'm going to say, let me look at that pituitary a little bit. My next question is, how's your monthly cycles if it's a female? Outside of that, I'm just going to have to look at the eyes and tell that hypothyroidism at age 11. Now, I think we've read her things before. She's taking synthetic T3 and T4. Low. See, now this is right where I'm looking at low TSH on last blood work, and I have to tell you, Patty, I think that's more your problem. Is that now you could have an individual genetic weakness in the thyroid and the parathyroid. But you're 5'4", you know, I'm gonna say that you're probably gonna see a pituitary with a low TSH, which then is kicking down on the T3s, which then can kick down on the T4s. So I'm thinking they're probably trying to support your thyroid when in actuality it's a TSH problem. And so they have you on T3s and T4s trying to bring up some relationship which can't without the TSH. So my guess is you're going to see a TSH problem more than the others. I would go after that. Now, she's got a creatinine of 0.8. I don't like that. 0.6 is as high as creatinine you want. This is your kidney function. This is your kidney proteins. So when you start to get a 0.8, you're moving toward 1. Most labs are 0.5 to 0.99. Some labs go on up to 1.32 or something. It's like by the time your creatinine is 1.32, if you have a prostate, it's swollen real big. If you have ovaries, you probably have ovarian cysts coming and going, or you got some cysts somewhere. Because when you start getting up there, you start losing kidney function. You know you've lost filtration. Now you're losing kidney function. So it's a big deal. I don't like the 0.8, sweetheart. You want to be 0.4, 0.5. All right, so go after those kidney. Irregular menstrual cycle, so you know right there, pituitary. I would go after my pituitary. I do the pituitary glandular 1 a.m., 1 p.m. Pituitary is a little bitty thing, so you want to be careful there. But I would do, if it was me, I'd do pituitary 1 a.m., 1 p.m. Or I would do the endocrine gland formula. I would definitely back off, and it wouldn't hurt to go on the female reproductive for a couple of months just to tone the ovaries and the uterus and things. It also has some pituitary herbs in there. That alone can bring that into balance, but I have a feeling you've got some... and remember, this head area is attached to the transverse colon, symbiotically. So you want to go right into your bowels and clean them up, because that's the relationship of this transverse bowel has to be not eliminated, but cleaned up. So there's not a toxic feed up there. Don't ask me. But now right there tells you your pituitary's down, because you have the shortness and the irregular menstrual cycles. Those are both pituitary problems. So that one, if you didn't have the eyes, you could go right to there. Now here's a heart murmur, newly diagnosed. So that tells you that now we're not just talking about the thyroid, we're talking about its parathyroids. So, and that's calcium utilization, therefore sphincters and valves and all these things get weaker. Right? Connective tissue weaker, skeletal weaker. So you want to strengthen that up. So going out to the pituitary would be prime first. So I would go out to the pituitary first. If you were in my case, I would do the pituitary 1 a.m., 1 p.m. I would then, at the same time, I'd leave the thyroid alone, I'd go out to the parathyroid. I'd do 3 times a day, 2 bottles. 1 bottle of the pituitary, 2 bottles of the parathyroid, and then I'm going to take a superfood blend or something with that for the high, or just kelp, and really hit that, get a little more calcium in there so you can really pound and rebuild. This is before I'm looking at her eyes. Low platelets. Do not like that one. All right, low platelets. Look to the spleen. You want to clean the spleen. But the worst case scenario, of course, as you know, Professor, bone marrow. So either way, correlate this with your white blood cells. If your white blood cells are low, go after that bone marrow. If your white blood cells are normal or high, go after the spleen. Easy bruising. Where are we going? Parathyroid again. She's losing calcium. She's not utilizing calcium properly. Therefore, all structures that support life is structured up with calcium. Now, the body uses calcium for what? To neutralize acidosis. So the more acidic a person is, the more the diet is low in calcium. Here's a great example of this one. is a high-protein diet. You know, the very thing that people are pushing and medical doctors are pushing and some ridiculous naturopaths are pushing is what takes calcium right out of your body. Remember little brother phosphorus and nitrogen? You know, nitrogen is our great friend, but it also can be your enemy. Too much nitrogen, too much phosphorus. Both of those are acidifying the body. And then you guess what you're going to lose? Calcium. Proteins are a big leacher of calcium out of the body. Late bloomer, puberty, age 18. Where are we going? Ah! Pituitary. That's another confirmation of pituitary weaknesses right there. You were 18 before you even had your first... Yeah, pituitary's sleeping a little bit on you, honey. Thinning hair. Now, this is a whole different ballgame. Thinning hair and graying hair at crown and above forehead. Acidosis. Acidosis. Acidosis is all your lymph system, which is what's really chewing down on your pituitary and everything else, honey. Blood doesn't chew down on anything unless it doesn't get there. Blood is base. It's of a pH where it doesn't hurt anything. It's not supposed to hurt anything. But the sewer system, that's a beast of another color, right? Did we go up an hour? So instead of 3:30, it's 4:30. So they're going to kick me out of here pretty quick. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. I know I am lymphatically congested in my head and pituitary gland is down. Of course, you're a professor. You do know that. I know you know that. I talked to you. I fell rock climbing. See, and this is just, she fell rock climbing and fractured her feet. Well, yes, parathyroid weakness. See how all that fits in there? So, honey, you know, we've talked about this. I think we've read this before. We want to go after this. Your abundance 5, that's perfect. Creatine's 0.82, too high. Your TSH is 1.76, too low. I don't care about the T4s and T3s. They're secondary. Platelets are 138,000, way too low. Go after bone marrow and spleen, dear one. White blood, oh, here's white blood cells, 4.4. Well, that's not too bad. And your reds, RBCs are 4.29. Not bad. I desire to heal completely. I'm also working to complete level 1. Oh, sweetheart. Listen, make sure you get these glands back in shape because this is serious stuff. You need your gland. You need that parathyroid back and running big time. I love your spiritual discussion. I am re-listening. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. Love you too, honey. This is a good professor of anatomy and physiology. And she doesn't buy into it, and she teaches it. And she doesn't buy into, which I don't blame her, because it's stupid. You don't buy into dumping all your acids back into your bloodstream. That's ridiculously stupid. Ridiculously stupid. Okay, Patty. Well, I'll tell you what, having your eyes the right way is real important for me to see. So, honey, I'm going to look here. This is your right eye. Okay, so you got chronic adrenals. You have some chronicness to the right kidney. Upper femur a little bit that way. Hip a little bit that way on the right side. You could clean the gallbladder and pancreas out a little bit. Okay, you got great genes. You got a skin that's not filtering. So you know your thyroid was down. There's no wonder you're not sweating. Your skin is weak, and that's tissue. Skin is an integumentary system. It is a whole system. It is an organ considered. It has been dubbed the body's third kidney. With that said, you have some stressors in the middle of the back and in the throat area. A lot of lymph buildup around the parathyroid. Thyroid just looks lymphatic. Comes the pituitary, chronic, and so is the pineal. The pineal is real chronic. So you want to work with that. Also, the right side, I would say either the mastoid area probably. But you got some good genes. You just got a lot of lymph. These are blue eyes supposed to be. See that heavy lymph? All that yellow in there, that dark ring around the outside of her eye, that's her skin. When you have a dark ring around the outside of your eye, that's your skin. And your skin is your third kidney. You're not sweating. So these are pretty strong constitutions. You have some prolapsing of the transverse colon. More to the... this eye is hard, sweetheart, because I'm just not quite sure. I know it's your left eye, but it's kind of... Well, we'll just hope that it's like this. But yeah, you've got a prolapsed splenic flexure. You've got a little proximal to that. You've got some of the transverses prolapsed. More around the sigmoid. You have about where people have their problems, around the sigmoid rectal area, transverse area. Maybe a little cecum. Your stomach's real dark. There's a malabsorption ring, sweetheart. And I don't know if there's these are cataracts coming or what. It's just not clear enough to see. So you want to watch that because there looks to be a little violet haze. You don't want that. That would be poor circulation. So we want to look at that. Left side, now don't take me at 100% on this because I'm not sure how your eyes should be the way this is cocked like this. But I can tell you for sure, kidney and adrenals, rectal flexure, bladder, head of the bladder. I'll say this, the left hip and left ovary involved, spleen. So go after your spleen. Definitely see the spleen here. More of the same, pituitary and pineal gland. But got good genes outside of that, and so you'll be able to straighten all this around, dear one. You really will. So thanks for the pictures and stuff. Dear Doc, I am a 28-year-old female. I have a diagnosis of primary, this is a female problem, meaning I have never received my cycle naturally, like a very early menopause. Now, what's interesting is we just got through talking to Patty here about the pituitary and stuff. And I think, you sweetheart, you're going to find the same thing coming your way here. Right? Oh, an ultrasound, the doctor witnessed very small and not functioning ovaries when I was 16 and gave me pregnancy pills. Well, if your ovaries were underdeveloped, we want to go to the pituitary gland still for the underdevelopment of ovaries or underdevelopment of anything. So we want to go up into the head area. So I'd go at your age, I'd go upper circumbrain nerve, just at your age. I'd go upper circumbrain nerve for a few months. I'd go into, if you can afford to, at least the first kid or two, try to go that way, deworm yourself and everything else. You get a real good handle on our rhythm here. Kidneys, adrenals, bowels, why we're after those tissues in terms of cleaning and restoring those tissues. And how it fits in the whole dynamics of the game here. But you want to empower these ovaries, you need to empower the pituitary because you have that sort of thing going on there. After a couple of years, I decided to stop taking the pills because I did not like the symptoms I was having. Mood swings, difficulty concentrating when I was first in my class through the years. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you would. After stopping the pills, I faced skin problems, dryness in feminine areas, and some other symptoms. So, basically what you have is extreme dehydration. I mean, if are those pills really dehydrated you, or they made you very acidic. And, of course, that's what dehydration is acidosis. And it's possible these pills made you very, or they probably promoted estrogen. Now, the dryness in the female areas, that's all low estrogen. Low estrogen. Now, remember, you ladies produce 4 types of estrogen. Ovarian, fat cell, liver, and what's the big one? Adrenal gland. So when you have weak adrenal glands and your ovaries are down too, the chances you being real low on estrogen is that way, and that creates vaginal dryness. So when you have a hysterectomy and you had a little, the ovarian estrogen is for the uterus, and that's it. Anybody that thinks ovarian estrogen is used systemically, that's not true. You might have some leakage, but once the ovaries are removed or down, then you're relying on your other 3 estrogens, predominantly your ovarian, adrenal estrogen. When your adrenals are down, that's when you start seeing more low estrogenic type problems. Absolutely. But here's where you see a beneficial acid in its effect upon the female in terms of keeping moisture. But you can see the stimulating effects of an acid when you look at estrogen and how that is. And without that, how dry that tissue is. I was introduced later on to the supplements DHEA and pregnenolone. Both are hormones, absolutely, or precursors anyway. This supplements had a very good influence on me. I started to have a very high self-esteem, elevated mood. So immediately, you should have said, oh, look, It's my adrenal glands that are down. Because that's what you're talking to. Yes, honey. Oh, you're not a honey. Hi, honey. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks a bunch. Yeah, so it would have a beneficial effect on you, but it's not curative. And then when you stop taking them, you're going back to the way you were. And you have to be careful also with these type of supplements. You want to really go into the adrenals themselves, either with herbs or with a glandular, and wake up those cells. I started to have very high self-esteem, elevated mood, good sex drive, and less dryness in female areas. Nevertheless, with stopping occasionally, I noticed changes in my mood. That's the adrenals. You're down in your adrenals, honey. And I realized these hormones are messing with my head through much more gently than pregnancy pills. Oh, yeah. So I stopped them regularly. I haven't taken pregnenolone since, and I sometimes take for a short period of time, week or two, DHEA. I really want to be just happy and healthy for my own. Well, you got to go in the body and make your glands healthy. Glands control everything, guys. Hormones, steroids, neurotransmitters, enzymes, and the like. So you make your glands healthy. The idea, go to the cell, make the cell healthy. Well, how do I get to my cells and how do I make cells healthy? Well, that's what we've been talking about all these years. The chemistry and magnetics and intelligence of fruits, berries, melons, and vegetables. And yes, I said intelligence, because nothing is without intelligence. Everything comes out of God. There's nothing that doesn't have some degree of awareness to it. As limited as this perspective is, it is part of the all. So as limited as your perspective is of yourself as opposed to the greatness of the all, it's just your limitation of perspective because you're part of the all. Cool stuff. So to get healthy without long-term action, that's my dream, and hopefully have children. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we can get you totally fixed up here and have your kids. And by way of fixing yourself, honey, you'll have healthy kids, because you don't want to have children, and especially if you have a female child, you're going to have a hell of a time with them. You know, they probably won't even be able to conceive. So this is serious stuff. You can fix all this stuff up, though. I can tell you right now. This woman needs some help. I hope you can help me. I definitely can help you. I know so much about nutrition and read so many books and researches, and that becomes the problem. I sincerely have the knowledge to help so many people, but I cannot help myself with my situation. That's because a lot of the knowledge you have probably isn't all together properly, and no one ever put it together for you properly. And that's been the problem. The mind sees in pieces. Consciousness sees in wholes. That's why spirituality is a key to a good healer, because they get outside of the mind. The mind's trapping people, trapping the AMA big time, though, especially those that go to school and they become these intellectual elitists and things where they're the only one, da-da-da-da-da. You know, it's sad in a sense, because I look at that soul and go, oh, that soul's trapped it for a while. Yeah. Most of the symptoms I suffered from during my life, such as headaches, pimples, colds, sore throat, so all that's lymphatic stuff, right, were gone several years ago when I changed my diet, and I am thankful for that. I even have some sex drive, which is something I never had without pills. But still, I haven't got my period. Yeah, you got to go into that pituitary and get going and fix that up. That'll also bring the ovaries back into a state of health and wellness. I would probably also take the female reproductive for 2 or 3 months at least. All those herbs, especially while we have the false unicorn, yeah, those herbs tone and strengthen the ovaries and uterus of females. Great stuff. We've never had a woman that couldn't conceive, not to conceive in a healthy way and hold to term. We've never had that. It's so easy to get women to conceive and hold to term and fix them up. And it's sad that what women go through when they can't, without proper knowledge and wisdom. That's why it's so important for you ladies to help other ladies, because there's so many women being ruined out there for bad reasons. No good. Let me see here. Okay, so the primary symptom she has is no menstruation without pills. All right, so we know that's the pituitary. Gum inflammation, well, that's all acidosis, so you can say bite of the teeth too. Low sex drive, thyroid, adrenals, parathyroid, symptoms of depression, parathyroid, dear. You got your pituitary shutting down, just like we're talking about with the professor here, where her pituitary is shutting down her thyroid and parathyroid glands. And that's what you have to come out of that. Fatigue, of course, is going to be the adrenals, especially when on a fruit diet. That means that you probably have a lot of candida in you. So go after the candida as well, because you should see a lot of energy from the fruit. If you're not, then you have real low adrenal glands. Check your blood pressure, especially with your kidneys filtering, and see how low your blood pressure is, because it's going to be real low. If you don't have any energy on fruit, fruit is the highest energetic food on the planet. So you ought to look at that. And you could have adrenals down in your sugar metabolism. So see if you have low blood sugars, like hypoglycemia or something. That would be low adrenals as well. Low blood pressure, low blood sugar, they all kind of go together to some degree. Low self-esteem and extreme shyness. Well, extreme shyness is your adrenals, but you also have the parathyroid, which is this low self, and thyroid. This is your self-esteem. When your thyroid is low, then you have no self-esteem. But let me change that by saying you're all so beautiful. Each and every one of you are a part of this consciousness of God. You're only embodied to experience life. So just realize you're embodied only to experience. You can leave this body at will. You can take off and journey and travel. There's a lot of freedom that you can have once you're aware of it and once you learn how to do it. There is so much freedom that you have. And each one of you come out of this beautiful, there's just no words to describe the allness of life. But with that said, this world is so chemical, so low, that it's a struggle just to be happy here. And it's just that the mind and the negative forces have dominated. Well, we're here to bring consciousness, the light, the love, the power of intelligence to this area, not conditioned mind. The mind is just a conditioned instrument. And that's why there's no books anymore on the shelves, is there? No more books. You don't need books. You have yourself. You are tapped in and from the ultimate of ultimates. All your wisdom and knowledge is right there. You don't need to read someone else's. 9 chances out of 10, those people have no God-conscious experience, or remembering it anyway. So, trust in yourselves. You're all good people, good souls that are just down here and, just remember, cause and effect. Everything in your life is cause and effect. This is your chance to change that, to understand that, and to change it to your betterment, and to make your future better. That is a big deal. You don't want to just think about you right now in this lifetime and your situation, because as you start to get older, you start thinking, I'm going to be passing one of these days. Where am I going? It's all blank. I don't know anything. It's all dark. No one knows the future. Yes, they do. Oh, yes, they do. Oh, yes. You can see all of this. Oh, yes. This planet is so low, it doesn't have any of these concepts very many. You have to be in the spiritual fields to understand these, because your religious teachers don't know how to teach these things. They are not spiritualized. So a lot of them. All right. I'll get this one. Stomach ache in the morning for 10 to 15 minutes when eating cooked or heavy food the day before. Naughty, 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 girl. But it does show you could have some stomach problems, which is the autonomic seat here. This is my current diet. Ooh, I got to cut this one off. My diet consists of mostly fruits of the season. Currently it's bananas, organic, not blended. Clementines, organic oranges, organic, mostly organic, lots of fresh fruits and veggies such as carrot and celery. Added to that some nuts, dates. Let's back up, get rid of the nuts. Dates, steamed vegetables, okay, but let's get a little higher for about 20-day grape fast. Can you do it for me? Steamed vegetables, sometimes rice. Is that rice? It's rice. Rice cooked without oil and spices. Carob powder, yummy, yummy, yummy. You ever eat carob pods? On social events, I try my best to stick to my diet, but sometimes I am tempted. Yeah, me too. Well, I'll say this, sweetheart, real quick. Get yourself up on a fast. Get yourself up on a grape or a fruit fast or a fruit, berry, and melon diet for a couple of weeks and see how you feel. But you want to get to the core of these things. And if you need our help, we'll be glad to help you here. But all this is very fixable. Remember what I said, pituitary and all that. I just want to go back to Patty for a minute because I have her eyes here. Let me show you these eyes. All right. That's her right eye. Patty, did I see these eyes before, honey? Left eye. All right, good, great. I'll go this real quick here, Patty. But great genes, honey. Great genes. Good genes. You got some lymph nodes that are swollen, particularly in the right chest wall here. Over here in the lower lobe of the left lung, and up either in this shoulder, excuse me, or the upper lobe. You've got some iodine deposits all through the body. You've been taking iodine because your body isn't metabolizing it. It's all over the place, it looks like to me. GI tract, big place to go, honey. You are chronic in your GI tract. You're malabsorbed. You almost look like you have some cataracts here. I don't know. That'd be cholesterol. But your GI tract is where the big problem is. Your body is in great shape, but your stomach, your bowels, you got prolapsus of the hepatic and transverse. You got a real spastic bowel about right under the right or the left breast area, right in the transverse colon. That looks spastic, or you had surgery or something there. You got a big prolapsus of the sigmoid portion of the colon and the rectal flexure. But you know, you got a good eye here. These are nice eyes. You get in that GI tract and work on it with the GI broom and the stomach and bowel and that sort of thing. Your kidneys are not that bad. You just got some lymph involved. Even your adrenals are not that bad. Yours more like subacute in the adrenals. That's not bad at all. Heavy lymph vaginally and uterine, but really not bad. A little mid-back going on there. Minor spleen. Again, a little bit on the hip, ovarian on the left. On the right, we got a little more kidney going on. You got a drug deposit stuck in the kidney. The adrenals are a little weaker on the right. Looks like there's a drug deposit in the head of the bladder or uterine. Lower back, tailbone, stuff like that on the right side. Now here is a little pituitary, no question. A lot of sinus that come out of there. You're more sinus on the right side than on the left side. A little pituitary on the left side as well, sweetheart. But not bad. A little forehead weakness up there a little bit. But really, I'm just picking on you because you got really good eyes here. You got a gut that needs to be, you got a lot of work on here on the GI tract here. That left hip, that could be better. Groin could be a little better there. But great eyes, good stuff. I want to keep these though because I know you're. All right. I'll be back tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. I am building my new office, and kind of exciting. I got a whole big thing myself. So that's pretty good. They just kind of said, get him out of here. But I love you all, and thanks so much. The painting blows my mind. Blows my mind. The shirts, I love you all so much. Thank you for bearing with me, and I hope you're getting your remedy and your healing. If you're not, you call or in some way, because there's none of you out there that does not have the right and does not have the help from us to get well. So don't put yourself out there. Don't let your mind control you and think you're not good enough or anything like that. That's not true. You are the best. I love you, and to the next time, may the blessings be. Namaste.